Yeah, yeah. Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with some of the crew.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Nate.
And today we are here to go over a GM 911.
Yes.
So apparently a dungeon master out there has a player that's playing a paladin and acting badly.
Yes, and that's a request from Lieutenant Squirtle.
Lieutenant Squirtle, indeed.
Squirtle, not Squirtle.
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 Like
from Pokemon. From Pokemon.
Yeah. I've never seen any Pokemon, and I still knew that.
Okay.
You got kids and stuff.
They've never seen any Pokemon. But anyway.
There will be no Pokemon.
It is forbade in this household.
No SpongeBob, no Squirtles.
Yeah.
I mean, no Pokemon.
Yeah.
I like Squirtle.
He's a turtle.
But he's not. He's more.
So what does that have to do with paladins behaving badly?
Well, Lieutenant Squirtle requested that we assist him with this GM 911.
So essentially what it sounds like, right? His paladin is acting very unpaladin-like against the tenets of his god and just doesn't give an F.
And maybe that is him playing that. Like maybe he's distraught with his god.
So there's the meta discussion first, right?
Okay.
The thing we have to discuss is maybe this person just wants to play a murder hobo. Like he doesn't really care about telling a story, a plot,
he wants to play a
role playing. What?
He wants to play a Smitatron.
Right. Well, he just wants to kill the monsters and take their stuff, and he's not really into RPing and telling a story. He just wants to roll dice and kill things.
And he's a paladin for the very wrong god.
Right. So, I mean, just the meta discussion of this player, if that's who they are, that they just want to actively just be like they're playing a game, like an MMO almost, then like nothing you are going to do is bringing them out of that mentality. I think
part of the problem too is like DMs forget like their greatest tool is just to ask the player, what are they trying to accomplish? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Why would your character, ask them questions about their character. Why would your character act like that? What's your motivation? What's your drive? And if they are just a murder hobo, very quickly into that conversation, you're going to realize that's all they really want to do.
Yeah.
And they don't actually care about the RP stuff that goes with it. And maybe the solution becomes, okay, how about we adjust your character and put him more in alignment with a deity that is more in alignment with what you want? Because technically there's no restrictions on any of the paladins.
Right. You could be a sort of Charles Bronson, kicking the door, weaving the 4/4, like just smiting people that deserve a smiting, kind of thing.
Because they have treasure.
Because they have treasure. Yeah, that's right. You could do that.
The Beggar King's paladin.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Beggar King usually, I mean, unless you take the revere the evil aspect, but they usually like go smiting the people that deserve a smiting kind of deal. But if he's like willing to,
he's the proactive section.
Yeah,
because one of the things he did, he's trying to like hint at to the player that there's a problem by having cracks form in his holy symbol.
Yeah,
so and he says, and his player's kind of like, whatever, dude.
I think that might be too subtle, especially if this person is more on the lines of mechanics and less RP. Take powers away. The powers that are from the speak their language. Yes, be like, hey, you picked Paladin for certain reasons. Perhaps they're better than a fighter because they have healing. They have these other powers that are supernatural in nature.
You reach into that magical place, your spirituality that you go to for X ability, and you find it empty.
Well,
yeah, or you find it dirty or tainted. So something that you just can't. It just feels wrong, messed up.
So this gets along to what I would say is, so the paladin goes to pray to get his spells, right? And so he's praying to his god. His god's not answering his phone call, like he's not answering his prayers. But he finds there's a presence that is willing to, right? So there's another power. So you start to set this character on the path of becoming an Oathbreaker paladin. And what I could see doing is, so every day that this paladin allows this other entity to answer its prayers, you have a shift towards whatever, evil or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be
not even evil. Just
it could be chaotic neutral or chaotic good.
You could even maintain their paladin path.
Yeah.
For a while before switching to Oathbreaker.
Yeah. And the way I see doing it too is you start to swap out like the low level abilities of Paladin, like from whatever it is baseline to Oathbreaker. So, like you replace the first level ability from the vengeance, oath of vengeance, to to the oathbreaker one, and you keep going up the chain until like fully converted over to being so you do it subtly over time. So there might be a span of time where these things stack out, and it's like maybe it's imbalanced, it's not good, but that you're changing it over, and F all that noise about like taking agency away from the player, because this is what your player's chosen this. Like story wise, they've chosen to do this. So this is like if your player
they've inserted the agency whether they know it or not.
Yeah. So you doing this is like them reacting to what they're playing.
And if they're saying, well, I didn't really actually want to go that way, then they might
they might repent.
They'll say, oh yeah, maybe I should start acting like a paladin again.
Pull back, yeah.
Well, a paladin, and
this has a repercussion.
A paladin
that I don't want
of whatever god they chose, and if what they're doing is so far out of whack of what that god would want, then yeah, that's a huge problem. They could always find, they could start out worshiping like the god of like the harvest and good and community, but eventually instead of like going evil, you could just have that their prayers are answered by the god of war now, or whatever,
or the reaper.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, the murder hobo god.
Yeah.
He's just been waiting, watching.
Well, there's harvesting, and then there's harvesting.
Yeah. Harvester of Sorrows.
Yeah.
Go
in
Metallica.
second edition, they had a
reference.
nice little fix for this to let you know your god was displeased. So I had a druid character that swore an oath upon his god that he would not betray this. I think it was a human soldier who he had defeated in combat if he took him to took my character to the treasure, and he did. And then when the dude turned to leave. He's like, I fulfilled my part of the bargain. I'm out of here. I took my spear and ran it through his back. And what happened was a ghostly spectral, very large hound appeared before me and howled 3 times. And back in second edition, we had this monster called the Hound of Ill Omen. And basically what that did was gave your character X amount of quadruple damages that the DM could put on you whenever he wanted. It was the mechanic of this monster.
So you can have some sort of divine agent or avatar show up.
It sounds like a punishment game.
Yeah.
It was absolutely a punishment. I broke an oath on my god, and my god sent me a present to say, hey, I really don't appreciate that.
Dude, that's just not cool, and that's not how we roll. So yeah.
So have a Hand of Ill Omen and suck on some quadruple damages for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be like crits that you can invoke, when you feel like
like anti-inspiration.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this monster crit it. What a surprise.
Yeah. Or in this game you could just use the advantage mechanic.
Yeah. Or disadvantage,
either one in 5th edition, or like, hey, you know what? Like, you create this like circumstance where it's almost like a curse that your god puts on you that takes effect whenever, and oh look, you have disadvantage for this combat. Oh, and all your enemies have advantage. Suck.
And you should like flavor it so something about like, if you worship Thor, there should be like a thunder peal. Like there should be some sort of omen that's associated with the deity to let you know it's divine retribution.
Light divine thing, then you have things reflect and distract you,
or like there's a glare off of the sword that's like a holy light that just clutches your eye just at the wrong moment.
Yeah, while it's coming at you.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and that's absolutely it. You just got to flavor it to whatever's going on, whatever that deity is. Whatever the nature of your sins against your deity is, perhaps.
Yeah.
All these things. And you would maybe want to like reoccurring nightmares for the character. Maybe all kinds of omens just happening left and right to let him know he's on the wrong path.
Yeah. But again, I do want to bring it back. These are all great suggestions, but your player might just not care about the story of the game. So if that happens, nothing you will do will bring this person back. Like you're either going to have to accept that this person is going to just play this character however they want and just treat it like a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper. So they're either going to do that, or you're not going to play with them.
Well, the thing too, though, is like if you look in the PHP under Paladin, there's those tenets that you're supposed to adhere to, and you're within your realms as the DM to revoke their Paladin powers if they don't adhere to them. You could even, I've seen DMs even in 5th edition go, okay, you're actually a fighter now because the power that made you a Paladin is no longer answering you.
Yeah,
respect your character.
Right.
So that's where you get to the point where, okay, it's a player and DM discussion as opposed to an in-game solution. So,
yeah,
so
it's
you
kind
have
of
to
like, well, the
determine,
player says, I didn't want this to happen. Like, well, the DM would then say,
but
what
everything
else did you expect to
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. So yeah, if step one is to figure out if it's a player problem or if it's a character problem, and that's going to determine the solution from there.
Yeah.
Be like, if it's a player problem as a DM, you're obligated to go, well, here are your options. Which one would you like to choose?
Yeah. And also too, though, you shouldn't have a super narrow view of of what a paladin has to be in this edition of the game, especially because you can be literally any alignment. Like, I played a paladin who was very not cliche paladin. Like, he wielded a big ass battle axe and wore like basically an executioner's hood because he was like there to like punish. He was more about punishment. Like, I made him after like a Punisher / Judge Dredd, Charles Bronson, sort of, or the Punisher sort of thing. He was still, a lawful good character, but he would do divine sanctioned torture. Like, he was okay with that. So, I mean, that's a pretty narrow precipice of being a paladin, but he still was. So,
this is an Inquisitor type.
Yeah. Lawful evil, but I don't really like the alignment system anyway. To tell the truth.
Yeah.
But you've got the tenets for the oath of the devotion, oath of ancients, and
but that being said, though, like, if it's a specific type of deity, the deity is going to have its own tenets, and no matter how you call it, if the deity would be against what you're doing, they're going to stop channeling the power to you.
Yeah, that's kind of the end. They're
going to turn off the
stop measure.
Yeah. So yeah, like the character you described would probably worship a god that would be in alignment with what he's doing.
Yeah.
And was that a Silver Flame?
It was Church of the Silver Flame, which they were very like kind of. Think of the Spanish Inquisition era Catholic
they
Church.
kind of did that.
Yeah. That was kind of the idea I was going off of, and it's like with the torture stuff. The thing of like I felt like it was justified in that like he didn't enjoy doing it, but he was willing to do it.
It hurts me as much
as it just hurts you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, super calm about it though. Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah, very eerie.
So I think that covers it. I mean, like, the main thing is figure out player problem versus character problem.
We got some different solutions going on that you can think about.
Down in the comments, you're going to find a ton more solutions because the Nerdarchy viewers are awesome for that. So while you're at it, like, subscribe, share.
You can hang out with us over on Facebook.
You can also join the conversation over on Reddit.
And until next time,
stay nerdy.